Hey guys, so I'm just going to preface this real quick by saying the live stream that I've been trying to set up for the past few days is not going to happen today either. I know, it sucks. I really wanted to get it out today. I really wanted to hang out with you guys today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that because of the fact that my computer has been acting weird. This is being recorded off of the same camera hooked up to my laptop. So I'm still trying to figure out what's wrong with my computer, which means that if I can't figure that out right now, streaming is going to not happen this evening. But tomorrow I am totally off. I'm not recording anything. I'm not making anything. I am not doing anything with my other job. I am off. So I am going to try to do the live stream tomorrow, and I will actually put a tweet out. So follow me on Twitter. It's at Frodo117. Follow me over there. I will also obviously put up an announcement video letting you guys know that I am going to be making a live stream. So definitely check that out. When it comes out, of course, and it'll have the time and date, well, the time and everything that I'm going to be doing it, but yeah, so I got to get this whole nightmare sorted out. It's sitting over here, hopefully you can't hear it, it's sitting over here with its fans cranked up to the maximum because I think it thinks it's overheating, maybe, I don't freaking know, but yeah, so make sure to keep an eye out there, but as for anything else, let's just get started with Q&A Saturday. First question comes from Solaris290. What's your favorite genre of manga? As opposed to favorite genre of anime? I guess I don't really know. I like action, but I also like the kind of darker themed anime, the darker themed manga. I don't know why, just the way that it's drawn. I like that very much. Like, oh my gosh, the way that Tokyo Ghoul is drawn, or, I mean, to a degree, the way that Death Note was drawn, but it was only very specific scenes that Death Note was drawn in a very cool way. I like Tokyo Ghoul's way though, where it's like for very dark moments, it's like the whole page is black, outlined by or accented by the white of the character in the shot or in the scene. So yeah, I guess the darker themes or action, one of those two. Next question is from Meme Bears. I almost said Mean Bears a minute ago. Meme Bears. Who's your favorite character from Mekaku City Actors? I liked Ene. Ene was a good one, and Konoha. Konoha was a good one, or formerly known as Haruka. I liked Haruka more than Konoha. Like, Konoha was cool, but Haruka, his personality I liked a lot more. He was pretty cool, but overall I like Ene's character I think the most, followed by Haruka, which then closely followed by Konoha. Because, yeah, reasons. I like those characters. And the next question, from the same person, what's your backup plan if videos here don't work? So if the videos here don't work, or if, it's not going to work out really well doing it here, like if I get in trouble here or something like that, I think what's most likely going to happen is I'm going to shift away from this for a little while and focus on gaming, things like that. Try to build up a community there, and I think if this third time around does not work, I will move away from reaction videos, doing shorter reaction videos, doing more fan creation videos, not full show reaction videos, more just fan videos and trailers, things like that. I think I'll do those and do reviews of anime so that I'm using bits of content so that it's a little easier to fight the fair use claims and things like that. So if things don't work out here, I'm going to focus mainly on gaming, reviews, and maybe some fan-based and trailer reactions, but nothing like what I'm doing currently. If this doesn't work, I'm still going to keep doing it for now, but if it doesn't work, that's what's going to happen. Next up, Incredibly Gay asks, what's your second favorite master/servant pairing in Fate Zero? Because your first will obviously be Waver and Ryder. That's very assumptive of you, but you are correct. P.S. Mine is I never bothered to learn his name, but I'll just call him Ryu and Caster. But why would that be your favorite, or your second favorite? They are awful people. No, my second favorite is Kiritsugu and Saber. Definitely my favorite. Very creative here, aren't I? Very different from everybody. Waver and Ryder, and then Kiritsugu and Saber. But whatever. All right, the next question comes from Nanako N. what is your position on traps in anime? Traps in anime. I'm assuming you mean somebody dressed as the opposite gender, or somebody who seems like the opposite gender. I mean, I think it all comes down to how it's used. I think some are interestingly made. Some work interestingly, and others don't. I've fortunately only come across one show and it was like I watched an episode, so don't ask me to remember what it was, but I've seen one like not so good kind of thing. And as for like a good one would be like Ruka in Steins Gate, where it was like, I mean, it was a plot point, so I mean, her plot point kind of worked, and so yeah, I guess that kind of works. Vladsky asks, "What's your favorite and least favorite mainstream anime?" I'll get least favorite out of the way first, so that all the hate can just pour on in when it's ready. I would have to say is Bleach, and I don't know why. I started it, and I just couldn't continue with it at all. Don't know why. Just wasn't my cup of tea. It's not that I don't like it. It's just my least favorite. And then my favorite would have to be Dragon Ball Z. Absolutely Dragon Ball Z, because it is like now that I'm watching it with the mindset of it being an anime, it's incredible and I love it. So yeah. Oh, and actually a perfect fit for the next question, which is from Wendy Sky Marvel. What to you makes anime different from cartoons, or is it any different to you? I think it really depends on a couple things, what makes them different. The big things would be art style and language. So there are some that cross that line, like Ruby. Ruby I don't consider an anime. I consider it an anime-inspired show or an anime-inspired cartoon, even though it's 3D animated. It's really confusing with Ruby. But yeah, mainly art style and language. So, for example, Ed, Edd n Eddy was a unique art style in general, but it still had a very kind of American or non-Japanese or Asian cartoony vibe. So it was also originally, and I think only done in English. So that kind of thing to me would be a cartoon. But with like Dragon Ball Z, or with Fairy Tail, or with No Game No Life, all three shows of which I watched in the dub, even though they are the language being a part of it. But those are what I would consider anime because they were originally done in Japanese. Their art styles are all kind of different, but they all still have kind of that Japanese feel to it. Like the eyes are a big thing in those shows. The eyes are very telling, I guess, of the art style, because they have a very specific way of the eyes are a certain way, with the tops leading down to the sides kind of open-ish or thinner lines on the insides, whereas like some American cartoons is just circles or just like the shape of the eye in a solid outline, that kind of thing. So I think that's kind of, just to sum it all up, art style and original language are the two things that I think really differentiate it for me. But I'm aware that they are still considered cartoons in Japan. It's just that kind of cultural difference is what kind of sets them apart for me. All right, next up is Karyu. I always mess it up, sorry. 2 questions this time. Number 1, do you think characters calling out the names of their skills when fighting is stupid? Maybe. I think in some scenarios it works because it just builds the tension, builds the excitement for it, because you're like, oh, he's going to use this, he's going to use this type of fighting skill or whatever, like that. But if it's something like I mean, when Natsu was fighting Sting and Rogue, and he used Dragon Slayer's secret art, exploding Lotus Flame Edge or whatever, and he shouted that, like, that scene was so intense, and it was so exciting and full of energy, and it just added to it. But like for some stuff where it's not a big thing, I think it is kind of stupid. So it just depends on the context. And question number 2, if you are in the world of Hunter x Hunter, Which character do you choose to be your Nen teacher? Who? It would have to be either Krapka, because I know that he's not going to mess around, or Killua, because he was able to master some pretty impressive skills pretty quickly. So I think either one of those would work really well. I wouldn't want Gon, because I think Gon and I are of a very similar childish mindset, and we would both kind of just end up goofing off. So I think Killua or Krapka would be good. Next up, Mohammed Moradi has 2 questions as well. If you could ask Hiro Mashima, Fairy Tail's creator, and also creator of Rave Masters, thank you very much, some questions, what would they be? If I could ask him some questions. Alright, I'd have 2 questions. First question. Why do most of your characters always survive? I mean, I'm not complaining, but why do most of them always survive just somehow? I mean, you know, some deaths would be appreciated, even on the good side. I think it would build up some character, and also build up some drama. And question number 2. Well, maybe. No, 3. There's 3 questions. So question number 2. Nalu? It's going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Am I missing something because I'm not reading the manga? Probably, but I'll ask him that anyway and just tell him that I'm only caught up to where the anime is in the dub, and he'd probably hit me in the face. And number 3 is Gajio and Levy? Is that going to happen too? Just wondering, you know, figured I'd ask. And number 2, what are things that you would adjust in the Fairy Tail? What are the things that you would adjust in Fairy Tail series? Things I would like change. I think I would actually. I don't know what character I would do it to, so don't ask. But I would probably kill off a character, like a big character, somebody who would actually have an impact, you know. And he wouldn't survive somehow randomly. I think he would die. See how that would go. Kind of build off of that with some other characters in their development, and yeah, use it as a way to kind of bump the story even further ahead in the kind of darker side of things. Next up comes from Giovanni Gardino. I'll eventually get these names right if I keep doing this. If you were a hero in an anime, which type of fighting style would you want to have? Martial arts expert, sword wielder, or an element control like water or fire? Well, I was in Scouts for 15 years, so I'm pretty sure that I would want to go with elemental control, and it would be fire, because as everybody in the States, and I guess wherever scouting is, as everybody knows, Boy Scouts are, pyromaniacs. So yeah, I would be a fire controller. I would be a firebender. Next up, Cameron Clegg. Have you ever not watched an anime because of something like the art / animation or the voice acting? In reference to voice acting, I didn't watch Noragami in the dub because I didn't like the voice acting for it. It didn't fit at all. Like, even if I were to watch it and like start as the dub, the voices don't work at all. I don't know why, they just don't, and I don't like it. So I didn't watch Noragami in the dub, but I did continue it in the sub. Obviously, I'm still going. But as for art / animation, One Piece, actually. I watched a good bit of it, and I think the big thing as to why, like, I think I could probably muscle through the animation and just kind of let it be, and, good enough, I'm not a huge fan of the art style. Not the animation. The animation's fine. The art style, I think, gets me. I'm not a big fan of it. But, I mean, I think if I could watch it on my channel, I would just muscle through it and just bear with the animation. But the problem is that there are so many episodes I'd have to go through that it's just overwhelming, and I don't want my channel to just be of me watching One Piece, because that's all it would turn into if I did it. But, yeah, I stopped watching One Piece because of the art style. Okay, Cedric Plays has another question. I think, did I answer any questions from him before? I didn't answer any questions from him yet this episode. So Cedric Plays asks, if you can ask any anime character one question, which anime would it be and which character? one. You mean which question would it be? Or what would I ask them? Okay, if I could ask them a question, which anime would it be and what character? I would love to ask Natsu a question from Fairy Tail, and it would be, when are you hooking up with Lucy? But that's just me. Next question. Man, this is a big Fairy Tail themed episode. Yip Soon asks, who's your least favorite character in Fairy Tail? My least favorite character in Fairy Tail. I guess I assume you're saying the show and not the guild. So if we go by my least favorite character in the show, so far, least favorite character. Aragorn was kind of irritating. Didn't like Aragorn too much. So I guess because I like most of the characters for either how good of a villain they are or how good of a good guy they are, and I think Aragorn was just kind of meh, and so I think I'll say I don't like him. That or Blue Pegasus as leader. No, my least favorite character is Ichiya. There you go, Ichiya, least favorite. Next up is Graceful Espion. Now, question number 2 I've already answered a couple times, so I'm just going to skip straight to question number 2, which is which anime do I want to live in, and it would be the Fairy Tail world. I've said that a couple times already, so that's where I'd love to live. And so the question number 1 is actually the most interesting, which is which character voiced by Vic Mignogna and Todd Haberkorn have been your favorites voiced by them? For Todd Haberkorn, it would have to be Natsu, absolutely. Like, I mean, that's Natsu's voice. Give me crap about it if you love the sub for Fairy Tail. I don't care. For me, Natsu's my favorite. And as for Vic Mignogna, for a long time it was Edward Elric, and it still holds true. I do like Edward Elric's character a lot. I also like Soul's dad, or Maka's dad. What was his name? It wasn't Spirit, was it? Maybe it was. No, maybe it was Spirit. I can't remember. But Vic Mignogna voiced him, and I like that. But as of late, Crow's voice, voiced by Vic Mignogna, was really good, and it was also because I could imitate it, which I really I like doing that. But yeah, so as of late, it would be Crow, but I think Edward Elric still holds true for Vic Mignogna, so one of those two. Okay, Choi Mayhui, I don't know. Who are you gonna be if you are in Tokyo Ghoul World? Like, who am I going to be if I'm in the world of Tokyo Ghoul? Who would I be? That's a good question, and I'm not sure. I'd like to be Kaneki, but like post Aogiri Kaneki, because that would be after he had gone through all that stuff and had kind of broken and was super powerful. So I think I'd skip to where he was super powerful. Just a thought. I think that's where I'd go. All right, here is the exception question of the session of the Q&A of the episode, whatever you want to call it. Here's my exception question: will you upload Let's Watch SAO Season 2 on your other channel? I will. It's just a matter of when I get the time and when I get the bandwidth, because I have a data cap here at my house, and I don't want to exceed it because it costs me money every time I exceed it. So that's just how it is. Next up, Kishi Reapers asks, which animes would you mix together to get the ultimate anime? And I would mix together Hellsing Ultimate for the ultimate anime, Fairy Tail, Noragami, and One Punch Man. Next question. Next up, Shadow Ifrit asks, who do you think would win a fight in Ruby, Adam or Crow? Oh, jeez. Well, considering it seems like Adam benefits more from drawing power from ranged attacks, like gunfire, like how he drew power from Blake firing at him, I think that Crow might have the advantage if he doesn't use the shotgun part of his scythe, because I think Crow may have the advantage in hand-to-hand with Adam, because Adam's very I forget what the style is that he uses, but it's the type where you draw the sword very briefly, do what you need to do, and sheath the sword very quickly. You couldn't see me, but I was gesturing like I was sheathing the sword, taking it out, doing what I needed, and sheathing it again. Whereas Crow is very much and plus I think Crow probably has a very similar trait to Yang without losing his arm. I think he has a very similar trait to Yang where physical impact or physical damage would actually give him more power. So I think Crow may have the edge. I think Crow would win, and I'm not just saying that because he's my favorite character. Next up comes Demontic Gaming, and they ask, what was the hardest drum cover for you? Like the beats were hard, etc. Oh my gosh, my screen just turned super bright. The hardest one I had to do was, ooh, that's actually a really good question. I would have to say either One Punch Man or Fairy Tail Opening 16. Those were two extremely hard ones just because the pace was super, super quick. And usually, I mean, I can do fast stuff with no problem. It's not that, it's the coming back from a lot of the really kind of super fast fills that you have to do. So like for Fairy Tail's Opening 16, there was one part where it goes from keeping the beat to going all the way down the drums from snare to tom, all the way down, and then coming right back to that beat after hitting the cymbal. So you have one hit break. You have like a one note break, and then you're back on the hard beat. Doing that was really hard. Or with One Punch Man, it was getting the double bass where it was, you know, da, 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 and then you go down on the you go all the way down the toms, and then you hit the ride cymbal, but you got to keep both feet going, and that was really hard to do. So I'd say it was probably One Punch Man and Fairy Tail Opening 16 were the two hardest drum covers I ever had to do. Seb asks, mainly for Fairy Tail, how do you avoid spoilers? I recently got spoiled for a big thing. It's not that I avoid them, it's that I forget them. I know I've been spoiled for a couple things. Not mainly for Fairy Tail. There's been one instance, I want to say, where I was spoiled for something. Don't ask me what it was because I can't remember. The thing is that a lot of the spoilers that I end up getting for shows is because I'm not keeping up with most shows. Like Erased is the first show that I've watched as it comes out for a long time. Like the last one I did for that, I believe, was One Punch Man all the way back then. And I say all the way back then, it was only a couple months ago. But I think that was the last one I did. So keeping up with shows, that's where I'm afraid of getting spoiled. Whereas like I'm so far behind in Fairy Tail in terms of where the canon and where the dub actually, or where the sub actually is. And I was so far behind with a bunch of other stuff that it's like, I get the spoiler, I go, oh crap, that's gonna suck. And then I just continue watching the show as it is. I don't put a lot of thought into the spoiler, and then once the spoiler comes up, it's like, oh, and it still has that same shock value to me because I don't know how it's going to happen, and I usually forget about it until it comes up, and by the time it comes up, I'm like, okay, I know this is going to happen, but how's it going to happen? So yeah, it's not so much avoiding as it is forgetting, because I'm really bad at remembering things. Next question is from Alexander Black. What would your ideal anime look like, and what genre would it be? I don't really have an ideal anime, honestly. I mean, the thing for me is, like, I don't look forward to shows in a super excited way because I'm expecting something out of it, or I'm expecting greatness, or I'm expecting a lot of action or something like that. I get a thrill from watching anime because I don't know what to expect. And the surprise of finding out that, you know, One Punch Man is the funniest thing that I've ever seen in terms of anime because the comedy was timed perfectly. The redundancy on things that they would do was great. How the animation went was phenomenal. With Fairy Tail, I wasn't expecting a story that started out kind of as a kid's show and then just grew into something that I never expected. I get an enjoyment out of not knowing. So I don't really have an ideal anime because I think that part of the joy of watching the shows comes from a lack of knowing what is going to happen, and then knowing what's going to like once you know what's going to happen and you see it happen, that's where the joy comes from. Not, oh good, they're doing what I really wanted them to do. That's not really part of it. The part of it is, oh my gosh, that is incredible. I was hoping they would do something like that, and they did. That kind of thing. Next up, Jason Kwok. I'm only going to answer one of the questions because I've already kind of answered the first question in another video. So the second question is, if you died, would you want death to be like Death Parade, Bleach, or Noragami? If you would have asked this before I started watching Noragami, I would have said Death Parade. But considering I've seen Noragami, I would definitely want to go with Noragami because I have the chance of becoming a divine instrument, which I think would be pretty cool. All right, next question comes from Sora Rose. Would you rather have insomnia or fall asleep randomly for the rest of your life? I already have insomnia, so I would rather fall asleep randomly for the rest of my life. That would definitely be a nice thing to have, because it means that I would actually sleep. Next question comes from Seamaster. Who's your favorite homunculi from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? Lust is absolutely my favorite, followed closely by Greed. I like Greed, but yeah, it would go Lust, then Greed. Question number 2. Who of the Soul Eater main gang is your favorite? So from the main group, Death the Kid is my favorite. From the whole series, I'd say it goes Death the Kid, then Professor Stein, and those are basically tied. But from the main gang, Death the Kid. Who's your favorite kid character in anime? Ooh, favorite kid character. I think I'm going to give that right now to Satoru, because he's a very interesting character. And then the weirdest opening you've ever heard in anime? Oh man, that's a good one. Probably, what was it? School Suite. Mikagura School Suite had the weirdest opening because it was just so energetic that I felt like I was going to die. So yeah. Next question comes from the Garrett Crespo Dick Writing Association. Rank 3 characters from smartest to least smartest. Ooh. And he lists Light Yagami, L, and Lelouch. Oh my lord. Ooh, Well, I think Light Yagami is going to be the least intelligent, and I'm just going to put it down. I'm not saying he's not smart, but I'm going to put Light at the bottom just because he got caught. Just saying. He got caught. I think... Oh, man. Because Lelouch was fucking brilliant. So was L. L was basically Batman. So from least smartest to smartest, I would say Light... L, Lelouch. But L and Lelouch are really close. Did you also notice all 3 of these really smart characters start with L? My name doesn't start with an L, and I'm not very smart. So, just saying. But yeah, so from smartest to not smartest, Lelouch, L, and Light. But Lelouch and L are pretty darn well tied. And the next question. Are you really going to read the fairy tale manga? It won't... won't that make your reactions less interesting because you already know what's going to happen? No, actually, if you not to hate on you or anything, but if you had listened, I am actually only reading up to where the anime is. So I do read the manga, but I stopped at the end of the Grand Magic Games arc, or well, I guess it's still the Grand Magic Games arc, but with the gate. Well, I forget what the gate was called. With Future Rogue and all that, I'm up to that point, and so whenever I'm out of this filler arc, I'll be back on canon, and I will be reading the manga alongside watching the show. So I don't read the manga first. I watch the anime first. So yeah, don't worry about that. It doesn't really spoil anything for me, and it doesn't make it less interesting. Next question comes from Caster for Life. Did you miss me? Fuck no. No, I did not miss you. You could stay dead. Not you. If you're a subscriber, I love you to death, but Caster himself can stay dead for all eternity. I hate Caster. That got really dark. Alright, next question comes from Where God Is Gone. And they ask, Tokyo Ghoul, anime or manga, and why? Both, and mainly anime, because I haven't read past the manga, or past where the anime is in the manga. Though I did see how it all kind of diverged and all that kind of stuff, so it was kind of hard to figure out where to stop and where to start and all that stuff, but I figured it out, and I've stopped now right as close as I can figure to where the anime ended. So yeah, as for the next one, would you anytime in the future do manga live reactions? If I can find a way to make it entertaining, like try to voice all the characters in it, then probably, but yeah, that probably turn into more of a comedic thing, so I don't know. We'll see. Is Fate Zero one of your favorite animes? Well, actually, that actually doesn't fall under the what's your favorite anime, which I refuse to answer. So yeah, I can say that it's one of my favorites. It's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. So in terms of shows, that is definitely one of the highest ranking ones that I have watched in a long time. Next, then the last question he's got is, are you reading Tokyo Ghoul RE because shit is going down, and would you like to know I would like to know your opinion. Like I said at the very beginning, I have only read up to where the manga, or I've only read the manga up to where the anime has stopped. So no, I'm not that far ahead. I don't really know where shit's going down. So sorry, but that's the deal. And of course, the very last question, which I'm probably going to try to make a tradition, or at least just happens to be the way that I do it, is from monkey_gaming334. Thank you. Okay, if you thought I'd run out of these, you're dead wrong. So, jokes aside, what was the show and or thing that got you into anime? For example, in the prime of my cocky teenage years, I was getting into MMO gaming, so when I heard about people talking about something called Sword Art Online, talking about something called Sword Art Online was an actual game. Embarrassing. I heard some people talking about something called Sword Art Online was an actual game. Embarrassing, right? Little weird phrasing there, but okay. Now that I think about it, it actually is about to become a game over in Japan. Now I wonder, what are your thoughts on that? Okay, to answer your first question, what got me into anime was the music, definitely the music, because I heard the Soul Eater opening, and I was like, this sounds awesome. Then I watched the Soul Eater opening, and I was like, this looks awesome. Then I watched the show itself, and it was awesome. And then I started watching other shows like Fairy Tail. I watched a bunch of different shows that a bunch of my friends recommended to me, and I just, that's what took off. And then I saw the guys like Uzumaki Khan, Reaction Watcher, and a bunch of these other guys who were making these reaction videos, and in my head I was just like, I could do that, and I did, and now here we are. And as for the second question, my thoughts on SAO becoming a game over in Japan, as long as there's a regular screen option or some sort of affordable version of VR that I could use, excuse me, as long as there's some affordable version of VR I could use, or a regular monitor version of it, if there's that, then I would definitely buy it as soon as it's available in the States, or import it from Japan. I don't care about the language barrier. I would subtitle all of it. But yeah, I think that would be pretty awesome to see how that game's going to be made and how it's going to work, because it'd be interesting to see characters like that in 3D and create my own character in SAO. And as long as I'm not trapped in the game, I think I'd be okay. I hope I'd be okay. And I hope that I mean, I don't know if it'll be as intricate, but I hope that it's as intricate as SAO, in terms of, like, people don't have to be, master swordsmen or master archers. They could be regular folks running a shop or something like that. I think that'd be really cool to do. So I know Skyrim kind of has that, but I think you're still kind of required to go on this big old quest. So if it's like an MMO where I don't have to clear the game. I can level up one specific thing. I can be Lizbeth. I could be Lizbeth in a shop, never going outside, and just, working on swords and stuff. Yeah. So thank you guys, as always, for watching this Q&A session that I always do. Thank you for watching it all the way to the end. If you did watch it all the way to the end, it really means a lot to me that you're watching. I've been recording now for almost an hour, and I'm going to have to cut this down to like 30 minutes or something, which is still a long time. But thank you guys very much for watching all of this. It means a lot to me. Leave your questions down below. And that's really all I got. Make sure to like and subscribe here. Make sure to like and subscribe on the other channel. Everything else will be linked down below. Follow me on Twitter. It's at Frodo117. I recently passed 600 followers on Twitter, which blew my mind. I cannot believe 600 people want to hear about me tweeting about random things. But hey, you know, I've seen and heard stranger. So yeah, thanks again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one.